Welcome back to the library, dear wanderer. Today we're going to be heading back to Library Wing 1, back to King Shash's shelf, where we'll be reading the first book we get our hands on. This one was brought to the library by Din by Door and appears to be written in both English and Spanish. I'll be reading the English portion, but the Spanish will also be on screen. Now, without further ado, Wind for Erandi. Erandi awaits me in the shade of the Ahuehueti, legs crossed and eyes closed. Come, she has said to me, so I have come. Long shadows are cast by the Ahuehueti. Its trunk, thick like a column, holds the water rain gifts it. On its branches, green and alive, frolic the wind, breath and attribute of the white, bearded god, the feathered serpent. Come, says Erandi, without opening her eyes, her abundant lips, full and tender like a pomegranate, open just a bit, flashing a glimpse of pearly teeth. Come, she has said to me, so I have come. Erandi's skin is made of copper and cocoa, of fertile earth like the one on which she lies. When the sun kisses her, she radiates with the light of the King Aster, a woman made of crimson gold and fire. At the shade of the Ahuehueti, she resembles the tree itself, wide hips and slender silhouette, once crowned by a mane of jade hair. A whirlpool of turquoise halfway between the tree's verdure and the kingly plumage of a coetzel. She has cut it short now, her temples and ears uncovered by the pruning, and the wind frolics in the small curls she has left in its place. I have come to her, and before her I shall remain. Sit, she now tells me, so I sit before her. Erandi does not open her eyes, her calm breathing barely audible under the breath of the god. Her lips part for another instruction. Listen. So I listen. The wind fills my ears, its gusts coursing through my hair and my clothes. I hear it as it goes, as it comes. The branches over our heads shake, they quiver, but this is not the wind of tempest. It is a rumor, a prayer, a chant. Listen, says Erandi, and I understand the words that travel with the serpent's undulations. And as I understand, my soul journeys with the wind. Tell me. Erandi seeds me the word. I hear the wind being born in the south, where his name is Kukumats. He flies over the forest, his and his people's domains, the old temples still traversed by the echo of his name. Erandi nods slowly, her closed eyes seeing through mine, her ears still riding with the wind. Tell me, she insists, and I speak. I hear the wind called Huracan. His wake is thunder and desolation. His mirror is gentleness and abundance. Kukulkan, he takes the form of the serpent, who dances adorned by the sun. Erandi's lips curl upwards, white teeth peering as she repeats, Tell me. I hear the wind-made sun over Teotihuacan, city of the gods, where the death and rebirth of man lies written in stone and blood. His name is Quetzalcoatl Ehecatl. His twin is the evening star and the axolotl. He will not steal bones from the lord of Mictlan. The sixth son is not yet to be born. And here? It is not a request what Erandi asks now, but a question. I meditate for an instant, the wind's soft voice dictating in my ears that which I am to answer. The wind that blows over this land has no name, has no face, but he sings. He sings over the lakes and rivers, through the mountains and forests, the fields and villages. He sings and talks. The gods of this land have names and faces, but no words, so the wind must lend them his own. She smiles, pleased. The wind caresses her, and she joins him where he goes. At last her eyes open, 2 pieces of bronze tempered in the forge of wisdom. There is still something she desires, I can feel it, and her mouth once more murmurs her will. Close your eyes, now asks Erandi, so I close them. The wind's whispering brings with it Erandi's aroma, cinnamon and earth, but it is her lips who bring with them her warmth, soft, tender. Erandi's breath envelops me, captivates me, entwined with mine as our mouths come together. The wind we carry inside ourselves drowns even the typhoon's voice. We remain there beneath the sacred tree, united, immersed, the world as far away as the firmament. Our lips touch, our bodies embrace, our spirits take flight together. And over our breath, over the warm wind born of 2 lovers, still tread the murmuring of the gods. A wonderful tale of gods, winds, and all sorts of other stuff. Next, we have a short poem. It was brought to the library by strange fellows. Now, without further ado, The Soft, Dark Corner. The fire is warm, the candles are lit. You grab one as you prepare to sit. Finally, with a slouch and a sigh, you open the text with heavy, laden eyes in that soft, dark corner. Soon you're transported to a magical place, but that's when the roots begin to take place. You think back to the fear and death caused by those who cause distress in that soft, dark corner. The attacks of the jailers who know no avail, as they spill blood to try and keep their secret veil. Their keys continue to jingle, as those around them learn not to mingle in that soft, dark corner. The fire burns bright, set by those who will, seeing this destruction of information with a thrill. The infamous book burners with this light only ever wish to see us die out of spite in that soft, dark corner. To top off this tower of misery and death are the madmen who want to see the dying breath. As they force the spear ever deeper, their crazed laughter gets deeper and deeper in that soft, dark corner. And finally, as the blood begins to dry, you silently tire and wish to die, but to no avail is this heard, as the cover closes and your head turns, in the corner of the library that begins to burn. A lovely little poem in telling about some of the hardest times in the library's history. But we should move on to our last story for today. This one was brought to the library by Loiterer 87. Now, without further ado, The Citykeepers Collection, Tombstone Gardening. Introduction by Edward P. Taff. Tombstone gardening and cultivation may seem an easy task. However, despite the fact that your planted tombstone will sprout overnight, the keeping and eventual cultivation of your tombstone and its resultant properties will take time and effort to yield quality produce. The origins of the practice began countless years ago in the north, where younger cities grew in the desolate countryside. As mass graves covered the majority of the land, early citykind and their kin began to use the sites as a space for their arts, summoning the vast sources of extinguished life and energies to aid in their ventures. However, this, of course, led to the gravesites becoming as dead and useless as their many occupants, more so as the overzealous and greedy died misusing the sites. As markers and cemeteries became more prominent, citykind began to see fit that care was taken in their keeping. The use of stone provided more preservation on the contents and allowed use over many long years. Long after the original choice of marker, wood, had rotted and died. The chapters on planting and caring will explain this in further detail. Tombstone gardening is as much an art as a means to an end. While the idea may be out of fashion to contemporary citykind, some maintain it is a valuable resource in keeping everything from memories to precious and personal artifacts safe. This guide in the Citykeepers collection will show you how to properly plant and look after a happy, healthy tombstone, to know what the different cracks may mean, and how to care for it in all conditions, whether rain, snow, or shine. If you follow the instructions contained within correctly, you may be lucky enough to gain more than an overnight stump, and be the proud owner of an impeccable stone angel. The use of naming and the importance of choosing the right epitaph on your tombstone is also critical to its overall ambience. A well-named and cared-for tombstone will reflect itself in its plot and surroundings, while a poorly maintained one will crumble and die. The aim of this little book is to teach you, the gardener, that tombstone gardening is more than simply caring for a name on a slab. On a footnote here, the contents of this Citykeepers collection is for the gardening of a single tombstone. For keeping more than one, please see the Citykeepers collection Advanced Tombstone Gardening. It is caring for the land it grows in and the life around it. So get your gloves ready, prepare your grave bulbs, and please read the following carefully. Your life may depend on it. Contents. Introduction. Page 1. Choosing a plot, page 2. Planting and overnight sprouting, page 12. Choosing your words carefully, page 34, and an excerpt here. Once your tombstone has sprouted, you'll notice that it is completely blank. At this point, you should begin to inscribe your tombstone's name and epitaph. The epitaph of a tombstone is essential, for it maintains its purpose and not just become a decorative addition to the cemetery it inhabits. End of excerpt. Maintaining your tombstone, page 66. Weather and its effects, page 124. Growth from markers to mausoleums, page 187. And an excerpt here. Drew Cartland once stated, "You can always tell when a tombstone has grown. The normal grave starts to move away from it." The indicators that your tombstone is about to expand are all to do with the plot it grows in. End of excerpt. Cultivation, page 201. Further reading, page 212. Excerpt. Eepers Collection, Advanced Tombstone Gardening, E.P. Taff, Crypt Weed Overgrowth. Graveyard Poisoning and Other Hazards. Jack Faltringham, I Grew the Dead, a Journal. End of excerpt. Glossary, page 214. I do wish we could spend a little more time on that book and read it all the way through, but this is all the time we'll have for today, dear wanderers. I've got to wrap it up, but before we do, there was one story that was missed, and it was only because we didn't have the time to read it. Next week, it should be up. It's called Slipstream Line, and it was brought to the library by Progress Made. But good luck out there. Make sure to get something good to eat and stretch yourself out. You've been sitting there for an awfully long time. Good luck, and I hope to see you all next time.